Hey, we're dealing with some scatter plots. Your learning target is I can enter in data into the graphing calculators and I can make a scatter plot on the graphing calculator and find the LSR. So let's look at a few definitions first. Scatter plot is a graph used to determine a relationship between two sets of data. Best fit line or line of best fit is a line drawn that follows that pattern. The least squares regression line, LSRL, is kind of an average of it. It's in the calculator, it's y equals ax plus b, where the a value is the slope. Normally it's y equals mx plus b, but in this case, with our graphers, we will have an a there instead. And then correlation is the relationship between the x and the y. So if we looked at this one, it's titled weightlifting, and you look at the number of reps versus the amount of pounds lifted, you'll notice that it does form a straight line if I did a line of best fit. I'm kind of splitting the dots kind of in half, but averaging them really. That is a negative correlation, and you should look at it going, as x grows, y goes down. The next one, calories burned during exercise. The more time you exercise, the more calories you burn. So it does have a positive correlation. And as x goes up, y goes up. And the very last one, library fines. There really is no correlation there at all. No line that can be drawn. In other words, as x goes up, the y value, who knows? So let's kind of look at our directions for using the graphing calculator today. And you can kind of read it over, look at your notes. It is a little lengthy, and I do have a flow chart on the next page to help us out and understand. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to stat and edit, and we're going to enter in our information under L1 and L2. And then we are going to also look at the graphing calculator. And if you looked at the mode, I would like to have the stats diagnostics on and the stat wizard off. If there is no stat wizard there, that's okay. Then it's already turned off and you don't have to worry about it. All our teachers will have it on, and they have different versions of how or what you're going to use with the stat wizard on. Anyways, and the directions actually are right there for when you should use it when the stat wizard is on. Like I said, all these directions will be in a flowchart on the next page. Then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that your graphing calculator, you're going to go to stat plot, and you're going to make sure that you have go to second y equals, and you're going to make sure that your plot 2 and 3 are off and plot 1 is on, and we have the scatter plot graph programmed. L1 is up for the x values and L2 is for the y values. And then we're going to go to zoom stat, and like I said, we'll see it on the next page. Alright, so what we're going to have is we're going to have wind speed and the wind chill factor. So first of all, let us go to stat, and then we're going to enter in our information. And as you see, I have the information entered in from this table. Then we're going to go to stat again, and we're going to scroll over to calc, and we're going to scroll down to linear regression and hit enter. Once we have done that, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to enter in L1 right after, so I have to hit second and the 1 button, and then a comma. Then I'm going to put L2 in there, and a comma. Next thing I'm going to do is put the Y1 in there, and how you're going to do that is you are going to go to variables or vars. You're going to scroll over to Y variables or Y vars. You're going to hit enter for function number 1, function. You're going to hit enter for Y1, the first line, and so that's what's going to be on your screen. And in order to perform it, in order for it to happen, you actually have to hit enter one more time, and you will see that we have our A value, our slope, our B value 8.9, and then these others we'll talk a little bit more about it tomorrow. So in reality, we have our equation where the slope is negative 0.54x plus the b value of 8.9. So first two, A and B. After you have done that, we're going to want to graph it. In order to graph it, we're going to hit the zoom button, and then we're going to go down to number 9. Now you could just touch 9, that would be fine, but we're going down to zoom stat and hit enter, or you touch the 9. You'll notice the dots were already on there, the graph was already on there, and then a line of best fit is also drawn on there, our LSRL. Here's what I recommend. I recommend drawing the line first, and it goes below. And then after you have the line drawn, then you put the first box, and it looks like it's above the line, not quite touching. The next box is below the line and could be touching. The third dot is on the line and not touching. The fourth dot looks like it's right there on the line. And the fifth one looks like it could be above the line, like so. There you go. Oh, and the last thing I should say is the correlation is a negative one. All right, our next one, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to enter in this data. You do that by hitting Stat. You go to Edit, go up to L2, I suppose, and you hit Clear and Enter. And then you go up to L1 and you hit Clear and you enter. And then you enter in your X values or L1 values, and then your L2 values, which will be your Y values. All right, so do that. All right, unpaused, my information is in. With that, follow your directions again, off to the side. All right, go to Stat, go over to Calc, go down to number 4, enter in number 4. We're going to have L1, comma, L2, comma, and then I need my Y variables. So Y, go over Y variables. It will be function, it will be Y1, and then you have to enter to perform it. So my slope is 48.997, and my B value is 314.07, and that's going to round to 49.00x and 314.07. We are going 2 decimal places to the 100th spot. Once you have done that, then it's zoom, and go down to zoom stat or hit 9. Dots appear, line is drawn, and then like I told you before, draw your line and then put your dots on that line, above that line, below that line. So it looks like the first two are touching the line. The next one's definitely on the line. Next one's above, touching maybe. Next one's above, not touching. Then on the line, below maybe touching, and on the line, like so. That is a positive correlation, like that. All right, there you go. Your summary can be written down. Make sure you hit pause because there's plenty there. There you go.